The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Are you recording, Robert?
Yes, and we're live.
Okay, so you want to introduce this session?
Hello, sure. This is Robert Dixon here with my business partner Brian Sachs, and this is our weekly Hangout
I gotta
webinar.
stop you.
Okay.
I love when you say business partner. I'm glad you always clarify that.
Yes. So we're excited. We were talking earlier today about this Hangout, and we're very excited about being with you guys today and sharing some really awesome information. So Brian's gonna take the lead on this one, and we're ready to go.
Okay, so I want to welcome everybody. If you could just type in the chat box that you can all hear me. So Keith is all ears. Great. Jim, Carolyn, who else is here? I guess if they can't hear me, they can't tell me they're here, right? Okay, so Stan is here, Patricia's here, Jim is here. Who else? Wally, Carrie, well, welcome everybody. So I assume everybody can hear me, and we're going to jump right into it and do what we always do, which is try to share some useful information with you that you can use right away to help you with your business. And I also, we've gotten so many new members from our Instant Sales Army and several of the other products and programs that we have, and like Ultimate Market Takeover. So I just want to let everyone know, if you've missed any of these sessions, we do try to record it. It doesn't always work. The ones that we are successful at recording, you can view at localclientformula.com, and just go there, go to the weekly Hangout page. You'll also notice our Monday morning marketing minute, where we try to share some piece of advice there as well. So let's talk about what we're going to talk about today. And I want to share with you one really simple, sounds simple, I know, but it really is fairly simple. But it's a game changer that absolutely explodes your conversion. And I see so many today, just looking at my inbox today, there are 4 or 5 things out there that are being launched as WSOs and products. One of them is going to allow you to get the cell phone number of a business owner. Now, why you would want that without their permission is completely beyond my scope of comprehension. But I guess you could go and call people on their cell phones and annoy them. Not a pretty business. I want to share with you all some things that Robert and I are doing that I hope you will all be doing as well, that doesn't ever require you to be chasing after someone's cell phone number. I saw some software being released today to generate new clients. There are lots of ways to do this, but in all of these things, everybody leaves out like one important piece. So I just want to ask you all, how many of you are really good at generating leads? Just type in yes, if you would. So far, no one has responded. So I'm going to assume you're all terrible at generating leads. But even if you're great at generating leads, that doesn't really matter. You're not in the lead generation business. We are all in the get money from local businesses by providing a service business. And so if you generate a lead and your phone is ringing, all you're really getting are an earache, a neck ache, and tons of frustration. What you want, of course, are paying clients to actually hand over money to you. Does everybody understand that distinction? So tell me if you need help with conversion. Let me hear, type 1 in the box if you need help with conversion. So you can generate a lead, but turning that lead into a paying long-term customer is what the problem is. Type in 1 if that's a problem. Be honest. I'm not even going to call out your names, but I see a 1 here, another 1. How about the rest of you? Another one. So, I really appreciate your honesty, and it's what kind of pisses me off. I don't see anyone really talking about converting that client into a paying customer, converting that prospect into a paying customer. And that's what I want to share with you. And sometimes it's as I always say, best to learn from your mistakes. And this is a mistake that everybody's making out there. Not only is everybody making it, but shame on the people who are teaching it. And maybe not shame on them. Shame might be a strong word because they may not know any better. So Stan, what does back mean? I'm not sure what back means. I see Stan typed in back. If you can explain that, that would be good. But that's the problem. That's the problem that I see. That's the problem that I hear. And that's the problem that really, truly upsets me. So Stan said back to basics. Great. So here we go. We're going back to basics. Okay. Here's some facts to keep in mind. And I've had this conversation with 2 of our coaching students in the last week. Everyone wants what they can't easily get. And whatever you can easily get, you really don't want, do you? So here's an example, okay? Everyone's come to this session today. It's free. We do it out of the kindness of our heart because we care about our members and we want everyone to succeed. And yet, less than half of the people who registered for this are attending because it's free. If we charged for this, I guarantee you we would have probably 90% attendance. So, stop thinking about that. Start thinking about that. So I don't remember who it was, if it was Jim Rohn or Earl Nightingale, but someone of that caliber said if you want to be successful, look around at what everyone else in your industry is doing and do the complete opposite. And that is exactly what I've done in many, many industries. You don't like competition? Stop competing. Create your own space. You don't like selling? Stop selling. Now, on the surface, I know saying to you, stop selling, that sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? But I'm going to show you how to stop selling, and I'm going to show you some things that we're doing right now that actually make a huge, huge difference. This one little game changer, as I promised you. I want you all, I'm going to give you a second to grab a pen and a piece of paper because you're going to want to write, okay? I promise you you're going to want to write. So if you don't like selling and things aren't going well, stop doing it. If you keep doing it, you're crazy. If you keep doing the same thing, that is absolutely the definition of insanity, which is doing the same things over and over again and expecting a different result. Or for those of you who are in our ultimate market takeover, hoping. Do you see the picture of that guy in your mind's eye that I put up there? The guy who's like sort of hoping and praying things will change. So here's really the key right here. Here's what I want you to write down. You have to start creating the situation where you are really a consultant, not a salesperson, not somebody who's cold calling people on their cell phones, but a consultant, and they have to sell you on why you should take them as a client. So thank you, Stan. Stan says, always have pen and paper. You folks always have great tips, tricks, and actionable info. I'm actually going to show you here also. So thanks for that, Stan. So you have to start creating the situation where you really are a consultant, and they have to sell you on why you should take them as a client. So don't worry, folks. I'm not going to tease you here, okay? Because what most people will do is share this with you and then stop, right? And like, that's very frustrating. I hate that. I feel like reaching through the screen and choking somebody when I see something like that because I can mysteriously see their hand reaching for my wallet, and I hate that. So there's nothing to buy here. Don't worry about it. You can't buy anything here if you want to. So write that down. You want to create the situation where you're a consultant and they have to sell you on why you should take them. And I'm going to show you how in a second. So here's a formula. Create something of value that shows your expertise. Offer results and a guarantee. Get them to compete against each other. See, get them to compete against each other to do business with you. I guarantee you never heard anybody else talk about this, have you? Honestly, type in the box. Have you ever heard anyone even remotely talk about something like this? This is, totally different. So, and as I said earlier, it works because this is different. So Jim says no. Anybody else ever hear anybody talk about this? Seriously. Stop selling, and here's a formula for exactly how to do it. So I'm very confident none of you have ever heard anyone talk about this. And that's why, we do this, because you're our members, you're our subscribers, and we care about you, and we want you to be successful. And we want you to stop buying nonsensical systems and WSOs that don't work. So when you meet with these people, so you've created something of value, sort of like bait, and you offer results and a guarantee, and then you get them competing against each other, and then there's nothing for sale. You're not even trying to sell them anything. So Robert and I, just as an example, Robert, you want to tell them a little bit in your own words what happened with our accountant yesterday? Putting Robert on the spot.
Yeah. Which part of the meeting? It was a long meeting.
Well, let's talk about the end of the meeting and what we talked to him about. All the things he was doing wrong in his business.
Yeah. Well, he was. He's a great accountant, and he has a team, and but he's very. He is the business, basically. It seems like he's the reason that so many people do business with them, but that really strains his time, and so he's not able to focus a lot on getting new business, getting new clients, and so he was telling us about some things he's been doing recently that haven't been working, and Brian just said, well, here's what you need to do, and he listed off a few things, and the accountant was blown away. I mean, he was just like, wow, this will make me thousands of dollars instantly. All I need to do is put this into practice.
And he has now since emailed me several different times and wanting to know how he can get more of me. You see, so we put bait out there. We showed him some value right away and helped him, because that's the right thing to do. And we didn't try to sell him anything. We didn't even offer him anything, okay? And now we got him chasing us. You see? It's sort of like, you put a piece of raw meat out, and dogs from all over the place are going to sniff it out and start chasing you. Same idea. So let me show you. I hope everybody's written this formula down. Let me now share with you kind of how we're doing it. So we've put out a book, and this book is The 5 Costliest Mistakes. Black that out. Certain owners are making, doesn't matter what business, so don't even get caught up in that. Okay, down here we have Apple, Google, a publication I write for, and the automotive aftermarket, which is the National Association. So again, don't get too hung up on this, okay? And we're offering them special bonuses, but we're now, I'm going to show you, I'm going to bring to screen here if this works. So this is page 27 of the report. And in page 27 of the report, can everybody see this? Yes? Good. Okay. So we have now given them 26 pages of mistakes they're making with their marketing, mistakes they're making with their website. We've talked about reputation marketing. We've talked about all the things they need to do. And you see, it says here, got a headache yet? So I hope you've benefited from the information I've shared with you. As you can tell, it's a lot of information and costly mistakes to avoid. In fact, as you can see, it's more than a full-time job just getting your phone to ring consistently and making sure you're generating a profit. Nothing's worse than getting the phone to ring but spending more on ads than you are making on your new customers, or not even knowing what works or what doesn't. And then I go on to tell a story. And folks, stories are incredibly, incredibly powerful. One day I was speaking with a transmission shop owner who had contacted us after reading my article in Babcock's. He needed more business. What had worked in the past wasn't working now, and he had no idea what to do. As I started providing him with ideas and solution, I could see that he was mentally checking out. He was physically there, but clearly his mind was overwhelmed with information, and he had mentally checked out of our conversation. Finally, he turned to me and said, "Look, I don't really want to know about all of this, and I don't even understand what you're telling me. All I really want are people who need a transmission to come to me instead of other shops in town. Can you help me with that or not?" Aha. And see, and then I go into, how all that works. But my point here in showing you that is we put out a piece of bait. We so Jim has a question. How are you getting this into their hands? We're doing it in numerous ways, but one of the ways we're doing it is just sending targeted postcards. And so if you go back to the formula, okay, we go back to the formula, create something of value. So that's number one. We offer guarantees and results. I'm not going to go into that right now. But number three, get them to compete against each other. And number four, just keep in mind, nothing for sale. So there's the bait. Now what we've done is we send them to a site. When they click on here, they see others that have taken us up on the offer. We're offering them 2 free leads, no long-term contracts. We're offering them, results in advance. And look at this. See if your city is available for this program. Now, some of the cities are taken by a blue arrow. Some of the ones aren't taken with a red arrow. And don't you want to grab your spot? Doesn't that suggest to them mentally that they're now not competing with me? They're not validating whether what I'm saying is right or wrong. What are they doing? They're competing against each other because they don't want any other shop to have it. See, these are exclusive just for your shop. So who wants to tell me how brilliant this is? Okay, this is brilliant, by the way. If I do say so myself, I'll tap myself on the back. Okay, so they get a book, the book sends them to this site, and now they're competing against themselves. And we actually will be putting eventually on the postcard all the various shops that we're sending it to. And now, notice they're not calling us. We're having them apply. See, read this. Register now. Please complete this short form below, and we will contact you for a quick 5-minute interview to let you know more about our program and determine if we are, and determine if we are able to assist you with our unique lead program. Who thinks this is like brilliant? Come on, don't be shy, folks. Brilliant, right, cool, okay? So now I've laid out a formula for you. What about the rest of you? The rest of you mutes? Come on, let's hear it, folks. Okay, so I've laid out a formula for you, and I've now kind of shown you how to do it, how we're doing it. So I want all of you to be able to do this. This is really, really a way, I've now changed the entire conversation, just as I hope all of you are going to do, so that they're not talking about our service being good or bad. They're trying to figure out if they can grab the spot for their city or be on the waiting list, okay, because they're competing against themselves. Jim, don't be confused here by what the service is, because it's irrelevant, okay? Don't get hung up on the shop, and don't get hung up on the minutia of this. This is a formula that works for whatever you're doing. Please understand that. An application system could really change the cold calling process. Wheels turning, Gary says. Right, that's exactly right. So instead of me calling a person on their cell phone number because someone has a new thing out that can grab someone's phone number, okay, we are now changing the dynamic and having them apply to do business with us. Do you see how beautiful that is? We've given them value, we've changed the entire dynamic, and they're now calling us begging. Now be honest, I'm sure all of you thought I was just going to tease you in the very beginning with this formula and not show you how to do it, okay? But I hope you all see now that you can do it. It really is workable. So that's what I wanted to cover with you today. Tell me if you all got like a good little takeaway here, something you can all do. While you're typing, I want to tell you that we are going to be having a special session. So thank you, Carolyn. Thank you, Jim. Who else? We're going to have a special session, a program that we are going to be offering. I'll just tell you right up front, it's a program we'll be offering. JC, thank you. JC says this is awesome. It's called Clients on Demand. It's October 30th at 9 p.m. And it really is secrets to producing clients on demand and finally having a real consulting business with predictable income. Robert, did you type that in the chat box?
I sure did.
Okay, so there's no cost to attend. There will be something offered on here, which will be a 8-week, I'll hold your hand sort of workshop. But there's no reason, there's no charge for this session, you know, the Clients on Demand on October 30th at 9 p.m. And you all know me, I would think well enough now to know that I'm absolutely going to be teaching you whether you enroll in the program or not. So there definitely will be, you know, lots of good information shared. I think it'll be appropriate for some of you. For some of you, it absolutely won't be. But either way, come to it because I think you'll benefit from it. And I'll say this sort of for everyone here. I've been catching a lot of grief from people because I said I, you know, probably would not have a replay if all the spots filled up. And right away, people jumped on me and, you know, called me all kind of like nasty names. But the reality is, if we are sold out, and because it's going to be a very limited amount of people we're able to take, if we are sold out, I do a replay. You know, to me personally, it's not fair. It's like, you know, it's like teasing someone saying, "Oh, look at all this, but you can't have it." So I don't know what we're going to do. Most likely, we'll just put the replay up once for like a day and then take it down, just so everybody can benefit from the information I share. But if you can be on it, be on it. I think it would be useful. So here's some questions. Questions for today's webinar. Guys, as we move from being generalists to experts, what's the best way to handle the referral and the things we have set in motion over the past year? I think once Brian said, if you see a $100 bill on the floor, don't walk over it, but don't build a business looking for $100 bills on the floor. So yeah, Carolyn, this is like a 2-slide question from Carolyn. Carolyn never gives me like a 3-sentence question. It's always like very in depth. And so Carolyn, by the way, I couldn't be prouder of you. But no, you never want to trip over a $100 bill. I mean, why would you? But by the same token, if the $100 bill is hanging off a cliff and you know, you're going to put yourself in jeopardy or go to like all sorts of hoops and hassles to get it, you know, it's not maybe worth the 100. And that's something for you to determine. So you got a referral from a good friend to an AC repair guy who was fed up with Yellow Pages. Yeah, I mean, take them if you can. Referral from BNI Group of a painting company. You know, I don't know enough here to say if these are $100 bills worth taking, but what I can tell you is if they're going to take up a lot of your time and you're not going to be charging appropriately for it, and they're going to take you away, Carolyn, from your newfound niche that you and I have been working together one-on-one very closely to sort of hone and turn into predictable income. Look, you know, here's reality. You got to keep the lights on and you got to eat. So I understand that, but I don't want it to take you away from everything. So for the first time, I'm at a point where these opportunities I know will not build the business I want. So number one, that's great. But at the same time, in a local community, I don't want to generate the reputation for being an ass. Funny, Robert and I had this conversation yesterday.
We really did.
Didn't we, Robert?
We absolutely did.
Yeah. See, Robert goes out of his way to make people happy because Robert's a good guy and Robert wants people to be happy. I, on the other hand, want people to be happy, but I'm not willing to do anything for them to be happy, and I truly don't care if they like me, and I truly don't care if they're upset with me. And I told one of our clients yesterday that probably by the next phone call, he's going to push me into a situation where I will fire him because he has become an enormous pain in the ass. And, you know, it always works this way, by the way. The clients you do the most for the cheapest price turn out to be the biggest pain in the ass. The client you charge a lot of money to and hardly do anything for always loves you. So, I mean, that's just ironic. So in a call this week with the AC guy, I used the call to practice the expert mindset. When I reached the owner, I introduced myself, why I was calling, who referred him, and that I would not be soliciting business from him in the call, and asked if he could put all his objections and questions to the side and allow me to talk with him about business. He kept trying to qualify me over and over. He went back as though he couldn't handle not being in charge. Well, Carolyn, that's like your first sign that you got a problem. I finally said, look, because I'm on the phone with you doesn't mean that I will accept you as my client. He said, I've heard that before. This is a limited time offer, blah, 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 my shorthand. I said, if having someone of my experience and expertise look at your situation to ensure we're a good fit together isn't of any value to you, then let's just politely say goodbye and go on. Then I said it was entirely up to him if he wanted to continue the conversation. I said I would email him and he could send over a past report illustrating the keyword targets and I'd take a look at. Otherwise, it was a pleasure speaking with him. I'm just not used to those kind of confrontations, but aren't they inevitable until I planted some flag? So, Carolyn, wow, like I'm exhausted with the question. But here, I have a couple things to tell you, okay? No, Carolyn, you know I adore you. Don't say sorry. And everybody should really give Carolyn a big hand here. You know, like type 1 in the box, give her some applause and some love because she's doing it, okay? She's doing it. She's killing it right now. And she's got lots of lessons here, okay? So I think you see the love. So thank you all for giving the love. And Carolyn, thank you for being you. Look, here's the situation, okay? The situation is that while you were positioned correctly, it's inevitable you're going to get jerks, okay? So you try to minimize that. But one of the ways to minimize that, and hats off to you, Carolyn, for knowing and feeling and actually experiencing the position of an expert and basically telling this guy to go crap in his hat, excuse my language. Actually, don't excuse my language because that is my language. But by the same token, here's what could have happened, okay? I'm going to give you all two sort of real big ideas here. One thing that could have happened is you could have said, I charge a $250 an hour consulting fee. If we work together, I will apply that to your, you know, to whatever your invoice is. If you feel I haven't delivered $250 worth of value during our session together of evaluation, I'll be happy to give you a refund. I mean, let's think doctor, lawyer, okay? You go into a doctor, and the doctor is a surgeon. The doctor has to evaluate you first, and they charge you for that exam, right? And they charge you for all the diagnostics. Are you less of a professional? If you are, you're in the wrong business, okay? It's the same with almost anybody, almost any professional, and even with attorneys, okay? Many attorneys will charge you, if they're specialists, not generalists now. Generalists always give you a free consultation, okay? But if they are a specialist, if they are an IRS attorney, if they are a real high-powered divorce attorney, you have to convince them to take your case, and they will charge you for that initial consultation before you even work together. So think about that. So that's one way to handle it, okay? Right, that's right, Keith. Keith says prescriptions without diagnosis is malpractice. You don't want the surgeon saying for the first time you meet him, oh, well, jump on the table, I'll cut you open, and we'll see what's going on. You don't want that. You got to run when you see something like that, right? Even a veterinarian you take your pet to, same thing. There's going to have to be diagnostics. And that's the way it is. The question is, do you have the mindset? Do you have, and there's no nice way to say this, so if you got kids, tell them to leave the room right now. But, you know, and this is not a sexist comment, but do you have the balls to do that? Okay, so that's number one. So that's one way to do it. Another way to do it, if that's not comfortable for you, is make this guy go through hoops before he even gets the opportunity. Carolyn, type in the box. Type in the box if you are near a microphone. Are you there, Carolyn?
Yes.
So Carolyn, do me a favor and just share with people, if you're comfortable with it, very briefly, what I made you do before we decided to work together.
What you made me do?
Yep. Was there about 5 or 6 pages?
Oh my God, yes, you did make me do that.
Yes, I did. You want to explain it?
Yeah, it was basically dissecting everything out.
Right.
What did I want to do? How much did I want to earn? How much was I earning? Blah, blah, blah. Just real details. I mean, very
Right.
personal
and you had
business.
to see. I made you feel pain before you even sent me a check.
Now that you mention it, yes.
Okay. And so that's one of the things, Carolyn, that you could have done. You could have said, in order for us to make the most of this situation to see if we can even work together, here's 6 pages you need to fill out. Now, he would have done one of 2 things, okay? He would have either never filled them out, in which case you've now not wasted 2 seconds, or he would have filled it all out and come to your meeting with a completely different attitude.
And that would send the signal that you don't waste my time.
Well, number one, it would have certainly cleared up in his mind that you were serious.
Right, okay.
And you weren't just, as you put it so eloquently, saying blah, blah, blah. Because I guarantee you, no one's ever forced him to do that before.
I'm sure not.
Okay? So I need you to fill out these 6 pages to see if we're a good fit. And it will help us in our conversation. Again, my preference is do both. Send him the form and make him pay $250. And if he's not willing to do that, what does that tell you?
That's not who I need to be working with.
Well, it also tells you that you're not going to waste any time, right?
Right, right. It's very clear. It's cut and dried, and there's no being nice or not nice. It's like they either do it or they don't.
Right, and you can take that form that I gave you and now convert it to business. And all of you that are listening, you can, think about what you want the people to say. Where's your business now? Where do you want it to be? What's working? What's not working? What are you spending money on? How's that going? What % of your business is referrals? What % of your business is new business? How do you generate that new business? You see, he basically had, when I sent that to you, Carolyn, you had an entire conversation with yourself.
Yeah, I did.
Okay? But when I got to speak with you, you are already now seeing that, hey, this guy ain't playing. He knows what he's talking about. Look at all the work I've already got invested in here.
Right.
So it was all about those, little tweaks. No one ever does. So Carolyn, hats off to you. I'm going to see if anyone else has any questions. Did I answer all of your questions?
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. God bless you, Carolyn.
Thanks, Robert.
Who else has some questions, folks? If you want to raise your hand, I'll see if I can open it up. And while we're doing that, if you look in the chat box, Robert has put the registration Robert's put the registration for our upcoming webinar. I hope you all can make it. Anybody have any questions, either type it in the box or raise your hand. If there are no questions, I'll just end this session, and I'll ask you all to do me a favor. And the favor is, if you are in the local client formula, if you're in the local client formula Facebook group or in the Ultimate Market Takeover Facebook group, just jump in there and share with others a takeaway that you learned today, because I think that'll be useful. And one of the things Robert and I both love seeing is our members helping each other. So I'm going to give one final look here. Is this adding businesses to a local map? No, it has nothing to do with that, John. You might want to listen to the replay once we have it back up. So with that, I will end it. I hope you all got some good takeaways. So Carolyn says, love the Facebook group, thank you. David says, thank you for actually helping, peace and blessings. He says, excellent. Well, God bless you, and share in those groups. And if you're not a member, join it. And before you leave, register for our October 30th, and talk to you all next week. Take care.
Take care, everyone.